but he was a really different dad than you were.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you self-consciously make choices in contrast to the choices he had made?
Yeah. At some point, especially when it became apparent that his choices were inconsistent with what I thought we should be doing, how it affected our family, how it affected my mother and Michelle and other things, It was fairly obvious at some point when all this started really taking shape, the changes that were occurring, and that my dad was who he was. He had a couple of different lives going on around him. He was a wild child at the early age and settled and became this great dad for us. And then once the reality of having another child came along, that wasn't his game that he wanted to be in anymore. I don't think he made that decision just to be that. I just think that that's the way he wasn't willing to go there. And you have to be in. And he let it be out. And so that, I think, was a turning point. It made it different. There was something about the respect that was shown to the rest of the family that was damaged. It didn't make me. I still love my father, but we have flaws, and this was a time when you see, oh yeah, we do see, it happens for people. We all have them. This one was just thrown right out in the public sphere, and so we had to deal with that. But it's hard to say how I was affected beyond that. It changed the perspective. It changed what we did. But one of the funny things that I think you said this when we were all back at the hospital, or a version of this about how you see your parents, and in spite of everything, one of the things that I noticed after Dad passed away was how I missed him just driving by the street and not stopping and necessarily saying anything, but that I was there and doing my thing, and it's sort of out of a, we still had our pride in the things that we did, and now that wasn't there. Whether it's cutting the grass or just the things you do to say, this is our life. These are the things that we do, little things in life that make us who we are when we see each other and say hi and stop and what you talk about and those kinds of things. And so, I noticed that missing when it happened. And so I recognized that, so this is a part of life I haven't incorporated yet, and so I've come to and do that. You might see that happening for yourself, at some point where you suddenly notice things that you wouldn't have noticed before in some sort of way like that, nor even expected to. It's just they pop out and you respond to them. And as growing up, it was. I said this, all the way back to the talking about Dad, like either at the funeral or in the backyard. The kinds of things. He could be a pain in the ass at times because he was, very demanding at certain points to make things happen, and he was never mean. He just wanted it to happen. Just you got something to do it. And if I've got something to tell you, and you see me speaking this way, don't ask questions now. You got something that needs to be done now. And he told this story. Drove past Uncle Jack's house one day, and he'd go by and roll down as we go by the house, and Jack would be out in the yard. And sometimes he'd just honk and say hi and go by, you know. And one day he went by and rolled down the window, and as I was rolling down the window, he said, "What for?" Wrong question.
Oh.
Because he wanted to yell at him. He had something he wanted to say as we're going by, you know. I forget the actual thing it was, but Joe was like, you know, I was taken back. I said, really? You know, no, now somebody did tell him, you know, don't ask questions now, you know. Funny stuff like that, you know, it wasn't fun. It's like, okay, I get it.